Thank you, darling.
Well, they always say start with a joke. She stole my joke. I was going to talk about Mossad. All right, guys, thank you so much. For those who know me, just leave the room because you already know the story. The rest of you guys, I was born in Iran, and my family were not pro-regime. They were not even Islamic. It was not easy, but my mother was actually accidentally became a refugee when she ran away from the IRGC, the morality police in Iran, and accidentally went into the British embassy. And they happened to help her out in a rare situation. Then I moved to London when I was young, and obviously as a kid, I was a teenager. You don't like change, you don't want to leave your friends. But my dad, who got stuck in Iran under house arrest and everything else, actually always said that was the best thing that happened to you. My mum always told me we were the Brits who were born somewhere else. I never knew what that meant until I grew up. And I got into politics. Then I realized there's no money in it. And then I left and I had normal jobs in sales. Then one day I started making YouTube videos with no plan. For those who remember, in Britain we had this thing which we thought was going to go for about 1 million years, Brexit. That kept going on. And I was watching the BBC, Sky News, all the channels, and they were not reporting what they were supposed to be. I didn't actually start reporting. It was like a personal diary, making YouTube videos explaining Brexit and the whole process. The channel did well. Then, as Brexit was being finished, I was like, well, what do I do now? Thank God for China. Because China virus happened. And well, when China virus happened, and obviously lockdowns, my channel became more about just keeping everybody happy. And like I was talking about the news while walking around empty London. Then the channel just became mostly about British politics, talking about that, and then news. And then I realized one thing. Just before October the 7th, things were happening around the world, and I started doing live streams. October the 7th happened. Then I realized what's happening here. Firstly, it was important to report because the BBC not only is not reporting it properly, but the people don't watch TV anyway. But while October the 7th happened, everything else happened around the world at the same time, and the Jews were being attacked everywhere, from Toronto to Berlin to Paris and London. So I had to talk about that. I had to tell the truth. But all that time, when I started my channel, which was around 2019, 2020, until last year, I slowly grew it. It got to about 400,000 subscribers. Between last year and this year, something changed. I met Danielle, my fiancée, and then suddenly my channel exploded, went from 400,000 to now 810,000. So we doubled that within a year. Yeah. Yeah, so that happened. And now the channel has become a go-to place for a lot of people around the world as a geopolitical news channel. It's still weird for me to get messages, people from Israel, people from Canada and Australia saying, if something happens in our country, we have to watch you. It's not a good thing. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't do what I do, because CNN, BBC, and CBC and all the others, they should do it, but they're not. And if they don't want to be successful, if they don't want the money, I'll take it. So I'll do the news. I'll do what they're supposed to be doing. And they still refuse to acknowledge what we're doing. The new media revolution that we've started. And again, it's going to be embarrass her, but thanks to Danielle, who is also my chief operating officer, she is launching, and the whole team, we're launching the first annual new media conference in London in August. We're getting new media channels from all around the world coming, from the Scandinavian countries. We got Visegrad 24 from Poland coming. We got many people coming. And we are getting the Jews. Yes, we are. Hopefully we're getting Emily Schrader, and a few others are going to come as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll get the IRGC state TV to come. You know, the balance. We need balance. Come on. But now, where we are is actually more important than ever, because the fight is not about politics. The fight is not even actually about culture, because for the past few years, in all our countries, you guys have your own internal issues with your left and right and everything else, mostly in the West. people in Europe are also fighting a cultural battle. But actually, we've gone back to the beginning. We've gone back to square one. The fight is for civilization, the right values against barbarism. And God help all of you that if I am one of the advocates for the civilization, not going to win. But yeah, we have a lot of big plans now. We are expanding around the world, and we now have Emily Schrader as one of our presenters. She hosts a weekly show on Fridays, although she didn't do it last Friday because apparently she was busy at the conference that we were at JNS conference. But yeah, we'll sort that out, and she'll come back from next Friday, and we'll have people coming, obviously, doing shows from Dubai, from Australia, and everywhere else, and hopefully one day Tousi TV could go live also from Tehran. So that's yeah. One of the weird things is my mum always kept saying we escaped. I escaped the Islamists from Iran. We come to London, and now they're following me. What do she keeps saying London Stan. But one day she'll be cancelled. Anyway, that's my story, and obviously we still got big plans going forward. This is not the end. We've taken the mainstream media on, and we are going to be continuing to be your voice and everybody else's to hopefully spread the truth. Oh, wait, it's not finished. I forgot. See, this is why I need her. We all forgot about the trip. We are here not just to pick up the check from Mossad, but also it's all big thanks to Kerper, and I don't know where Mark is. So yeah, okay, we don't like Mark anymore. Kerper. Actually, Mark and Kerper as part of the Our Fight UK. These are the people in London who are absolutely nutters, who go and confront the Islamists when they protest. And actually, she's the worst one. Stop the hate as well, obviously. Yeah, of course. But you forgot to pay me, so I'm not promoting it. Mr. Banana Man got deported before he even arrived here. Now, apparently Niak is coming to Israel, Niak Orban, who's also part-time Tousi TV reporter. The times when I can't be in central London, because apparently I'm getting death threats. Niak is there, who, by the way, I don't know why I'm using him as my alternative reporter, but more people want to kill him right now than me. Anyway, we came to Israel thanks to Alpha UK, Stop the Hate guys, and everybody who's been obviously organizing the trip and the tour. But we had a mission, Daniel and I and my producer / sister, Naz. We decided to do a documentary called This Is Israel. Now, obviously, I was struggling with the name, so. Yeah, and the idea was to actually tell the truth about what's happening here. The idea was actually, because we've had the BBC making about 3 documentaries over the last year about Gaza, and I don't think I can call them documentaries. Now it's time to tell the truth. We are telling the story. It will start from October the 7th, but it will then go back to the origins of this land, the ethnicity, the culture, the value, the fight for survival. Then we actually talked to some IDF guys, we talked to some people in government, different parties as well, just to be, well, no, none of the leftists, but you know, people are more center-right. And of course, gave a voice to survivors. We spoke to obviously Natalie, one of the Nova Music Festival survivors, and a few others as well. I think this is going to be one of the most important works that we've done. When it's ready, and for those who actually are regular viewers of Tousi TV, you know I've been saying something is coming soon. The app, here we go. The Tousi TV app, which is coming soon, by the way. It's been coming soon since Moses was 10. But actually, the truth is, the documentary is also coming soon. It will take some time. But the moment it happens, we're going to do a premiere both in London and in Israel. So for those of you who want to come. And then maybe Mossad will give me something. Anyway, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready, because in about a few minutes, we're going to go live on YouTube. Live from somewhere in Israel. Well, I could do it live. I'm going to bring people up. Let's do like that. That's embarrassing. So, actually, before I do that, just...
you want me to hold?
Yes. Well, no, because they might hold it.
Okay.
So there is an event here. They've done this for some reason. I don't know why. But, they have this gathering. Right, love that. And we got my big face on a banner for some reason. Right. I think you can hear me, right? Ladies and gentlemen, who wants to come up here? Come up here. We got someone coming up. So this is the crowd. I think the microphone will help, actually. Ah, there he is. I found the Jew. I came to Israel to hunt down the Jews. So, firstly, because I think we said hi earlier, who are you and how did you find me?
I'm Eldar Abramovich, and I find you with the algorithm. In randomly, you jump in my YouTube, and I start to follow, and I fall in love. Like every time I wait.
I have a fiance.
I know. So every time I wait for the next live and see, even if it's a night, the difference between the time. Yeah.
Are you a member of TCTV Plus?
Yes.
See?
Of course. All of them have to do.
Do we have more members of TCTV Plus?
Yes.
Oh, we go there.
There. There.
There we go. So, you're the guys who troll me in the Discord. Okay, great.
I know I don't love trolling.
What? Someone just said, what about the app? It's coming soon.
Exactly. If I can work for the app too, I can do apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can join the.
It's almost done.
Yeah. No, for maintenance and for upgrade, I watch. I really like to do it.
What do you do?
Right now, I work in an IT company. Yep. I done my software engineering degree.
So you're a hacker?
No. And now I moved to this city from the south, from Ashkelon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, start very new life, to work, meet new people, and, start my life.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, we went to the south on Tuesday, and it was interesting because we went to the Nova Music Festival site, and one thing I saw was there's a lot of people who are still going back to that site, but we could hear the IDF doing their operation in Gaza. And then we went to this retail park thing, to get some food, order a burger. And then there was a massive explosion. Firstly, I didn't realize it was an explosion because it was delayed. I thought it was like a car crash. It was so big that everybody heard, and apparently there was an Israeli who was working at one of the restaurants who had a panic attack. I was like, I thought you guys were used to it, but it was so bad. It was so big. But the thing is, the only issue is, we still don't know what that was. So one of the problems is what's going on in Gaza, and actually it works against the interest of the IDF and Israel, is because obviously the IDF has to be careful about journalists in Gaza, and a lot of people don't know, but the international journalists and media, the IDF will have to take responsibility. If they die, it's on the IDF. But you don't know exactly what's going on. So the BBC and all these guys will ask someone from Gaza to tell them what was hit. And they call them freelance journalists. And they just say, just destroyed a hospital, for example, without any evidence or information. And when I saw that was a perfect example of that. Someone could have told the BBC it was something weird. But luckily, we got away with it.
When I was 10 months old, I was diagnosed with asthma and I couldn't breathe at all. This shortness of breath was very difficult for me. I was even hospitalized. I used a lot of inhalers and inhalations and I didn't sleep during the night. I didn't attend sport classes, and when I did, I needed to use an inhaler afterwards. Ever since my grandmother bought me the Z-Medic Air device, I am more active and I move a lot more. I even got accepted to the team, and I no longer wake my parents up or depended on anything. It's really fun for me having this device. I no longer take medications, and I feel like every other kid.
Hello, how are you? Introduce yourself to our viewers who don't know.
Dr. Mordechai Kedar. Middle East and Islam expert from Bar Ilan University, now retired, thank God. You know, university is a very good place. The only thing which is a problem in the university is the students.
Sometimes
without the students, universities would be perfect. But apart from this, look, I wrote my PhD about Syria. You heard about this state, Syria?
It's a failed state.
Failed state, of course.
No state.
Almost.
Yeah, no more state.
When I wrote my PhD in 1997, it was under Hafez al-Assad. Meanwhile, his son came. His son was big hope in the West because he studied in Britain. He was an eye doctor, and he was married to a Muslim lady. Wow, although he is an Alawite. So everybody in the West was expecting that this man will lead Syria to modernity, lead Syria to normalcy, lead Syria to be a peaceful state which seeks good life to all its citizens. Turned with the years that as big butcher as his father was, the son was much bigger. His father killed more or less 50,000 of his citizens. Bashar al-Assad, more or less 500,000. Only. And
Another 500,000 in the jails under the
another in the jail, and another 5 million became refugees, either inside Syria or mostly outside from Syria, in Turkey, in Lebanon, in Jordan, and many other places in the world. And this is it. Meanwhile, what happened with Lebanon, never mind. Julani, a guy who grew up in Al-Qaeda, meanwhile became a little bit of ISIS as well, and $10 million were on his head. Yeah. Not because he parked his car in no parking zone. Okay? He's a butcher. And recently he took Syria over, and the whole world stands in line to meet him, to shake his hand. Although he doesn't shake hands of ladies, yet he is viewed as a Syrian president.
Self-identifies as well.
Of course. And now Israel has a question. We know exactly, especially after October 7, what it means to be a jihadist wearing a necktie. Just like Hamas. Well, Hamas didn't have any neckties, but they conned us for almost 17 years only to surprise us on October 7. The question is how to relate to Syria of today under the bigger jihadist, archi-jihadist, Julani or Ahmad al-Shara, as he called. So the question is, the world, like Europe, this is a president, what do you want? Well, once he was a terrorist, but now he is a good guy. What should Israel do? What do you think?
Build a wall.
A wall cannot be high enough to stop the missiles. Wall is not a solution. What can be the solution to this arch-terrorist who took Syria over, and now he makes voices as if he wants peace with us? Should we accept it or not? Should we fall again into this trap or not? Should we leave him walking on his legs, or shall we do something in order to get him in with a page or whatever? And this is the big question which Israel has today. What do you think Israel should do vis-a-vis those jihadists who took Syria over, and they actually slaughter the Alawites in the seashore, and they try to slaughter also the Druze, our friends and allies. What should Israel do?
Wow. So, there are 3 steps from my perspective, and it's not easy, obviously. Number one, the area that in the West we will call it buffer zone, that needs to be protected between Israel and Syria, but also the south to protect the Druze. We know that. That's the obvious initial thing. Secondly, Israel made a mistake for decades and decades. You guys keep trying to multitask. Keep trying to multitask from all fronts, left, right, up, down, all the enemies. But now, you might not have the Egyptian government wanting to take over now, or like the Jordanians immediately, or the Lebanese government officially. You don't have that. You have smaller groups, but you still can't trust your neighbors. But you have a big enemy, which is Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Even though, obviously, they're not in favor of al-Jilani, that could be to your advantage. I believe that Israel should do 2 things at once. Still focus on the threat coming from Islamic Republic, but at the same time, Syria must be the imminent mission to be prevented. Because in the past, when Israel wasn't careful about what's happening next door, like in Lebanon, when Hezbollah was growing, this happened with Hezbollah. You don't want to get to a point when the IDF has to go in 10 years from now and start a pager operation in Syria. You want to prevent that. And the only way is al-Jilani is trying to be a diplomat, right? Oh, he wants to join the Abraham Accords. He wants to be friends with the European Union. Actually, that could be used for Israel. Because not necessarily because you can trust him. Don't trust him. But use the friendship that he's got with the EU. He's going to get the money. He's going to get the European money. You don't have to have him in the Abraham Accords. You can't trust him that much. But make sure you get them to sign an agreement with the idea of keeping an eye on the region, the buffer zone, the south, and the Druze. Alawites, Christians, everybody who are there. And there has to be Israel. You know, the world says the Jews are always lobbying the world. Israel should lobby all the so-called NATO allies, the other side, to say, you guys apparently care about humanity and humanitarian issues. There are people who are about to get killed, and some of them have been killed over the last week or so again in Syria. Put pressure on this al-Jilani who's now wearing a tie. If you're going to give him any money, there has to be an agreement, but it has to be physical, and Israel is next door. Israel can monitor that region, that part, to protect the civilians.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So.
We have an ambassador from Washington.
Yes, ambassador from Washington. Yes, absolutely.
Yoram Ettinger, the one and only.
For you guys to also speak. There we go. We got our lovely next speaker. For those who are not familiar, introduce yourself. Obviously, one of the top diplomats. There we go.
My name is Yoram Ettinger. I was an ambassador at the Israeli embassy in Washington in charge of Israel's relation with the U.S. Congress. And
How did that go?
very well,
Good.
very well. And I'm an expert on U.S.-Israel relations, Middle East affairs, but especially on Israeli contributions to American economy and defense, which exceed by far what is erroneously referred to as U.S. foreign aid to Israel, which in fact is an American investment in Israel, which yields back return on investment of a few 100% year in and year out.
Actually, I was going to ask if I could quickly. You already mentioned it anyway, because a lot of people in the West are always assuming, oh, all these countries are begging for money from America. Oh, look at Ukraine. Oh, Israel always asking for money. You've already explained that, you know, it's a very different relationship with Israel. Not only, it's not really just like handouts. Firstly, America gets a lot from Israel, but also the money, either Israel buys weapons or is an investment. But can you also explain the difficult relationship that Israeli governments have had with different American governments? For example, under different presidents, different parties, it's been difficult. And the world thinks that both countries have been very strong allies, but without naming names or like the presidents or the parties, you can tell that some of the Americans were obstacles and the wrong times. When Israel could have defended itself, they said don't. And sometimes when it says defend yourself, I don't know what's going on now, but they're not defending themselves. So explain that complicated relationship between Israel and America, depending on the governments.
Well, it's not complicated. It has been very systematic. Every single American president since Truman in '48 until the end of the Biden administration, every president pressured Israel and sometimes also punished Israel by suspending supply of combat aircraft, suspending different defense agreements. The only president who so far has not pressured Israel or did not pressure Israel is President Trump. However, while every president from '48 until the end of Biden's administration pressured Israel, the strategic cooperation surged beyond the most optimistic assessment for a reason. And the reason has been that, contrary to conventional wisdom, the relations are not a one-way street, the relations are two-way street. U.S. provides Israel with very essential military assistance without which we maybe could not have made ends meet. But when we receive those military systems, we receive them as the battle-tested laboratory of the U.S. defense industry and aerospace industry. And every single day, the battle-tested laboratory provides the defense industry with lessons, which mean research and development saving of anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Anyone who knows anything about the cost of research and development in the area of combat aircraft, for instance, knows that that means that Israel provides bonanza of mega billion dollars every single year to the U.S. defense industry. Not only do we provide them with saving of 10 to 20 years of research and development, those lessons that we provide the industry in the U.S. enhance their competitiveness in the global market, which brings back to America more exports, which means additional billions of dollars. On top of that, Israel serves as a major innovation center, not only for some 250 high-tech giants in America, but we are the #1 innovation center for the U.S. military force, because every single battle, every single surge of terrorism yields lessons, which we share, most of them, with our allies in the U.S., which means a very high-intensity use of American combat aircraft by the Israeli Air Force provides the American Air Force, which does not experience that intensity, with lessons which improve the tactical capabilities of American pilots. And on top of all that, we are the AAA store of the American defense industry. When Israel carried out the Air Force offensive on Iran on October 26 of last year, we carried it out with American combat aircraft. The world noticed the most complex operation which we carried, by the way, the most complex, the most successful operation by any Air Force since Second World War. And the world contemplates, should they buy Chinese or Russian or French or British or Italian or other combat aircraft? none of the other countries have such a AAA store as the American aerospace industry, and therefore following the October 26 operation conducted by Israel against Iran, there were more export orders for the American defense and aerospace industry.
Can I ask one quick question? Just like in short, and it's not going to be easy, but obviously, as you said, the previous administration's always been actually difficult, apart from Trump so far. But the relationship between Israelis and Americans have always been good, strategically and everything else. Just in short, do you think the potential deal between Iran and the US could be bad? Because I think it would.
Anyone who contemplates negotiation with Iran is determined to repeat rather than avoid past mistakes, because you can have successful negotiation with a party which principally accepts peaceful coexistence. Anyone who knows anything about the Ayatollah regime in Iran knows that this is a regime driven by a 1400-year-old ideology that does not accept the so-called apostate Sunni regimes and does not accept the so-called infidel Western culture, especially the great American Satan. While the Americans view negotiation as a step towards reconciliation, the Ayatollah view negotiation as a means to recuperate from previous defeats, to regain power, to avoid a very mighty American military operation, and approach to achieving a nuclear capability. And therefore, any negotiation with that regime ignores the experience of the last 47 years since the Ayatollah gained power. Negotiation have been a bonanza for the Ayatollahs, transforming them from the American policemen of the Gulf to the #1 epicenter of anti-American terrorism and drug trafficking. Economic sanctions at best are reversible. Trump imposed economic sanctions, Biden came and suspended them. The only way to limit the scope of wars and terrorism is by obliterating the major epicenter of war and terrorism, which means regime change in Iran.
Thank you so much. There we go. We got our next special guest. I thought I was a special guest, but you know. Oh, hello. How are you? Hi. Okay. For those who don't know you, obviously introduce.
Zahava Gur. I am an attorney and I am a lifelong activist. And I'm here just to know you and to talk about a problem that I'm taking care of these days. It's about the deep state. The problem of the deep state is not only just in Israel, it's all over the global. And in Brazil, in France, I don't know how it's in Britain, but...
The deep state in Britain, the deep state is the state in Britain.
Okay. So I think in Israel is the worst in the world because of the Supreme Court and the power that have many organs in the in the law and in the army, in the secret organization, and now I'm fighting about small steps because it's a long years that we have a deep state, and then you can. First, I'm talking about with people. I'm trying to influence them to open the eyes because many people in Israel don't believe that we have a deep state. They think it's normal. This is the normal that we know. The other things, I wrote a letter to Mr. Donald Trump. This is the letter. And the letter is about the deep state in Israel and also about the world. And I think because when President Trump was elected, he promised that he will fight against the deep state in the United States and also around the world. And that's why I wrote to him the letter, and I hope he will answer soon, because I already get some answer, but it's not enough. Anyhow, I don't know, even in Europe, I think in Europe, in France, is very deep, France is very bad. And I think, you know, we didn't realize about how strong is the deep state, you know, because you don't think about it. You live your life and you don't think. But here in Israel, we're feeling it at least from the last 2 years, I realized that we can't continue like this. We have to change the basic. We have to change the power, because the deep state is fighting against legal leaders, and we have to stop it. Because when the legal leaders are elected by democracy, you can't use your power to destroy the legal.
One thing I would say, actually, usually the concept of deep states that has been talked about for the past few decades tends to happen in technically republics, usually it doesn't happen in a country like Britain. It didn't before, because Britain was constitutional monarchy. The palace was basically the deep state in a good way. You know, they were the grown-ups, and the people in the Foreign Office and all the others were parts of the state. The state was, the monarchy was basically the safety net constitutionally for Britain. In republics like France and many others, you know, the vested interests get involved, and the unelected people, so bureaucrats, they used to be servants, civil servants. Now they are political people who infiltrate. In America, it's the same thing. At least in America, you're able to get rid of most of them when you have a new president, because the president has that power. In France, not really. In Israel, you guys don't really. Your prime minister changes. That same people in the same building. I went to the foreign ministry. I had a great meeting with Cheryl Haskell, and, you know, like, great woman. But, you know, I could see, like, you know, you walk around, you look at people, and like, okay, you're going to stay here regardless of who's in power, aren't you? Isn't that the problem, right?
Yes, I think, I think it's not going to. It's a process. It's not going to be finished in 1 year or 2 years. It's established so many years, and we have a problem in Israel. It's very deep in Israel. The deep state is very deep in Israel, and we're trying to do some change. And I will hope I will do it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Also, clearly, the problem with Israel and the deep state is the Jews. Oh, the Jews. Yeah, so many Jews. Anyway, thank you so much. And then let's have a... Yes, I'll take it. Yes, I'll take it. Don't worry. Yeah, no worries. Let's have one more, because people are on YouTube. Hang on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Ah, perfect. Hello.
Would you like me to do this for you, or are you going to dab yourself?
Yeah, you do it. Just dab me. There we go. Okay, for those who are not familiar, introduce yourself.
My name's Yanai Kalman. Sorry about that. My name's Yanai Kalman. Where to begin? I guess at October 7th is a good start. I didn't think that I would find myself trying to really change anything or affect the world. I just was watching in horror. But the 8th, and watching how the world responded to what happened, it kind of activated a lot of us. Yeah. So, you know, we had loads of people going on social media explaining what's been going on, really fighting the information war from our perspective, and it just kind of snowballed. My sister and I inherited a podcast that she was doing with my father, and now we're going and interviewing actually people who have been influential in this whole fight, and that's kind of where we stand right now. These past, I don't know, almost 50 hours now, there's been almost no sleep with what's been going on in Syria, because it's been crazy. Well, once you get a message from somebody that's actually there telling you what on the ground, you know, they're killing us, things kind of change for you. And that's what the last it's just been putting out content, informing people, because the world is denying it, just like they denied what happened to us. They're denying what's happening in Syria to the Druze, and something that, you know, people don't know so much is the history of the Jews. We have the Jews and the Druze go hand in hand. I mean, all the way to biblical times. They're the descendants of the Kenites. They've in Israeli society, only Jews are required to serve in the army, but around 90% of the Jews serve in our military. Voluntarily, they're the greatest civilians you could possibly ask for. They're courteous, they're kind, they're welcoming and hospitable. They're really a wonderful people, and they're going through really, really a terrible catastrophe right now, and the world has to know.
Yes, sorry, I'm going to ask you about the Druze. We just got breaking news. Yes, another mysterious explosion in Iran just happened now. Yeah. I love that reaction. I'm going to find out. It was in Karaj, which is like a small town next to Tehran, the capital. So we'll find out what that one is about. I don't know what Mossad is up to now. But just a quick, let's just have the... There we go, actually. We have one more joining us quickly. I'll get you. A lot of people went for drinks now. Look, look, see? I've been talking too much. There we go. Hello, hello.
Smadar Segal. She lives in ambassdor, and they lost their son in the war.
Hello. How many people are following us now?
We have a few thousand watching already.
Ooh, hello to you from Israel. My name is Smadar. I live near Gaza Strip for 25 years now, and 6 months ago we lost our son in the war in Lebanon. His name was Tom Segal. He was 29. On October 7, we were at home. We are from Ein Absor. The terrorists came to our moshav also. We heard everything. We lost a lot of people we know and love. A lot of people we know and love were kidnapped. Some of my students were murdered that day, horribly. We know the women who got killed and raped and burned, and their bodies was mutilated. And I think people should know about it all over the world, not only in Britain. And I want to know, it's not that I want to know, first I want to tell you that when the Palestinians, if you can call them that, are chanting from the river to the sea, they mean the Mediterranean Sea to the Jordan River. And it means that they don't want Jews in the land of Israel. And the other thing I want to say is, you know, Bethlehem. There were Christians in Bethlehem. I think now we have only 2-3% of Christians in Bethlehem. There are prisoners over there. It's not that they don't have houses and everything, but they are not really... Bethlehem is gone, yeah? Okay, it's in the Bible and everything, but it's not Christian anymore. And I think we should warn the people in Britain. It's coming to you. I'm sorry to tell you. They are doing it quietly. They are doing it... I don't know the word. They are doing it in ways you don't really understand. So wake up and don't let it happen to Britain. I hope everyone will wake up in the world. It doesn't mean that all Muslim people are bad. No. It's the ideology. It's the Sharia laws. They don't like gays, although some of them are gays. You know, they raped not only girls in the Nova. Yep. They raped boys. Yep. Boys, yeah. They raped them. Some of them even lived to tell. Yep. Some of them got killed, and the pathologists just found, you know what, in the, you know what, okay? So,
wake up, Europe.
Wake up, Europe, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that story with us. There we go. I know it. The biggest issue is
Immigration, huh? Okay, I'll do it shortly. Sit down. Come on. I went to jail for you, so now sit down and listen. Okay, we forgot to talk about the biggest weapon today of barbarism against Western civilization is immigration. It hurts every country and every society in the West, Europe, United States, Canada, Israel, of course. Whenever there is a Western civilization, whenever there is a national identity, they come and ruin it. Now it's completely, it's a campaign against us. I mean, we should understand it. It's not a fight. I mean, I started my battle in the neighborhoods as a very local fight for the women and children of South Tel Aviv, but it's a lot bigger. And we have immigration only also today. I mean, everybody thinks that the moment this stopped coming from Sinai, it stopped. It didn't stop. We have here a lot. All those people who are coming as foreign workers with permits through the government, about a third of them are staying here. They are running away from their employers, and they are staying in. And we have now in the neighborhood, in all the neighborhoods, because they always, in every country, they go to the neighborhoods. They go to the women and children and young girls in the neighborhoods. They never go to the rich neighborhoods. They always go to the poor neighborhoods. And we have now a lot of people from India and Sri Lanka and Uzbekistan and whenever, and from Ukraine and from Georgia, and so on. And they're staying, and we're going to have a big problem. The African immigration is going to look very small in contrast to what we are going to have. So it's a lot part, and I want you to understand it. It's a lot, all part. It didn't happen by itself. It's a campaign against us. It's a campaign against the national identity. It's against the Jewish identity of Israel, against the national identity of Britain. And one. I must say, I know that he can't listen to because he's in jail, but I want to send from here our love to Tommy Robinson. Because, and I want to tell you, and I'll tell you in a small, very part, the Israeli judiciary, how you say it, system is as vicious as it is. It doesn't, it's not close even to the UK, because if it were, you wouldn't see me here, and I wouldn't. Wait, okay. It started in small. Who knows what will come?
This is very important, and I'm saying this as an outsider. I understand because I've met a lot of Israelis. Oh yeah, no, but that's the thing. But for Israel, it's different, even compared to the UK. So I met a lot of Israelis. I've realized even center right, center left, a lot of Israelis are very patient and tolerant. Actually, worse than the UK. There are two issues that I thought you were going to mention, which you mentioned something even more important. One of the issues is that everyone sees Israel as so cautious about security, who's coming in. You guys still allowed a lot of people coming in from the neighboring countries, basically even Gaza, that came and did terrorist attacks. What's going on with security there? But actually, if you turn Israel, which is a small country, is smaller than my bedroom, if you turn that into Dubai, it's not going to work. Dubai was created to be Dubai on purpose. Dubai was nothing. They created it, and it's all international. That's okay. You chose that. You created it, international, all the foreigners bring money, fine, happy. But Israel is a smaller version of the UK or the US. You have an identity. This isn't really supposed to be about racism or anything like that. if it's like Japan, I always say on my channel, if you have a bunch of blonde Germans going to Japan, it will change the face of the country. You don't want Japan to be blonde Germans. It's weird. Like it will no longer be Japan, because it's not really about the face. It's about the attitude, the culture, the traditions, the actual identity, the behavior. So yeah, I mean, if Israel turns into Dubai, it will just be weird. So yeah, anyway, thank you. Yeah, no, you won't. Yeah, thank you very much. Can we get one more?
He's an expert. That's two experts of Iran.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
There you go.
Dear Mahyar Tousi, what is the meaning of Tousi?
Well, technically it means the color grey. So I'm Mr. Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. But
Okay.
it's from the city Tus.
Yeah, city Tousi, northeast of Iran, is a birthplace of the most famous poet Iranian, Pardisi Ferdowsi, who is the writer of Identification of Iranian from 10,000 years ago up till now. Okay. Thank you so much for coming to Israel, dear Mr. Tousi. This is great to have you as an Iranian here in Holy Land. Is it your first trip? You will continue this trip up till you are alive. This is your destiny. This is the only country amongst 200 members of United Nations who have the representative, officially and formally representatives in United Nations. The only country in the world with 2,700 years common history, common culture, common bargain, common business, Iran and Israel. No any other country, no Ethiopia, no Roman, no Greece, and no any other, no country in the world, only Iranian and Israeli. They are going to be builder of a better Middle East. The project of Abraham is joining to King Cyrus project, which will be complete and cover all Middle East as a civilized area of geography and supporting hand in hand, dealing with Western culture and making a good future for millions and millions and millions citizens of Israel, of Middle East. Israel is the only democracy of this area, shaking hand of Iran, your country, your beloved country and mine, and probably many other here. Why? We wish to make a better future for our generation and generation. In your TV program, as I give you some information regarding of my background, I would like to talk to you, to your people, to your audience, how I have been the first Iranian detesting Islamic Republic more than 3 months before established. It means the third day that Ayatollah Khomeini arrived in Paris, I have been law school of Paris University. I was preparing my PhD with Paris University 3 months before Islamic Revolution. I was started 3 years before my study. But when Ayatollah Khomeini, 3 months before this Islamic Revolution, he came to Paris, I start my fight against enemy of a human being, not only enemy of Iran, means all Ayatollah from A to Z. I have written so many things, 188 research books regarding of who is Ayatollah and why this evil person destroy Iran, a good relationship with Iran and Israel, which it has been started in 5th March 1950 with Shah, and it was wonderfully fruitful for both nations and many other nations. What's happened? Okay, this is my first point that I want to, explain why. What was my mind? 3 months before successful of Islamic Revolution, I hint my people, hey, don't deal with Ayatollah. You will destroy, the country will destroy. 47 years we are experiencing. second by second. I would like to explain you from A to Z, point by point. What did I do for my nation during 47 years? And why I am not successful? And who am I as a non-Jew here in this Holy Land and over 30 years, and how finally, hand in hand, Iranian, Israeli will destroy the enemy of human being in Iran, and Iran will be the most civilized country, friend of Israel, friend of the world, and peaceful relationship for a better future.
We'll bring you on the channel and definitely sort this out. We'll arrange that.
Benny Sabti is the Iranian expert commentator for ערוץ 14.
There you go, how are you?
Thank you.
Hello again.
Thank you for being with us here. I'm very excited. And I want to wrap these things and say one thing, that you are also suffering from that in UK, and we are suffering in the whole Western world about that. And it's about the Iran regime propaganda and the Islamic centers that there are all over the world, from New York and Texas and Paris, and you know all about it. Yeah. This is, I think, the main problem of the Western world, that we don't understand their propaganda, their brainwashing, and we have to make as much as efforts together. Of course, Iranian people and Israeli people are united and are friends, but we have to focus about the brainwashing and what they are doing outside of Iran. Yeah. Because then the day that the British, the French, the German, everyone understand how they act, it's not about missiles, it's not about rockets. Of course, Israel can deal with Iran regime in that areas, but one thing we don't understand, and please, wherever you are, talk about their propaganda, because maybe today we destroy these facilities or that factory for something. The day after it will come back. Yep. We find in the tunnels of Hamas and Hezbollah in the south and in the north, we find the books of Khomeini and Khamenei and everything. Of course you saw that. I'm sure that you saw that. I think these are the real missiles, because they can come back. If a 2-year-old boy becomes a soldier after 20 years, I think this is something that we have to neutralize. Thank you.
Actually, we had the Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, on the channel recently, and I spoke to him privately afterwards. And you know, and there's been enough people around him to finally push him to man up, and because for years and years he was like, wow, nobody wants me, but he's finally, because actually there's been a lot of discussions about people around him as well. He's finally realized there's no other option. He has to be the advocate. He has to lead the revolution. Finally, there might be some solution. Thank you very much. Thank you.
My name is Mahyar Lubovikov, and I'm one of the founders of the Israeli movement of reservists, Millennium Generation of Victory. And you know, as a military, I'm going to be very brief. You are here on a very special day because today is the very date of establishment of the State of Israel according to Jewish calendar. This is fifth of the year, and this is the beginning of the war we are having with the other nations here in the Middle East for 77 years, and now we have a chance to accomplish this war, to win this war with total victory, and to regain the control all over the State of Israel, from the river to the sea. And this is our major goal, and with God's help and with your help, we'll achieve it. So welcome to Israel. It's an honor. It's our honor to welcome you here, and let's do it together, and let's win. Thank you.
Am Israel Chai.